Hello, it's the Randy Duck and welcome back for another video. Today we've got two replays to show you in the Tier 9 German tech tree tank destroyer, the Jagdtiger. And we are here for the first replay where we're platooned up with our good friend VK Jokers in the T10 and we're on Azure Coast. Now the Jagdtiger is a tank, honestly the gun on the Jagdtiger is so enjoyable. You know, you've got 4043 DPM in the build which I'm running, which you will see at the bottom of the screen as I speak. Fantastic penetration on the standard and premium rounds and great shell velocity. So the gun is really where it's at with this tank. It's all about the gun. You do have you have typical German armour. You can bounce shots off of it, but your superstructure is kind of easy to be penned with heat shells. But on the first replay, we're initially sort of just pushing up down the sort of left-hand side of the flank, down to sort of D sort of free area. See what we spot, see if we can get any shots in. We do have some tanks with us, but most of them are kind of camping in this sort of sniper spot at the F2 area at the start. So we've got to be a little bit careful. I don't really want to full extend at the start. But we do get an initial shot in and we slap that enemy bar for 546 damage and get off to a good start to the game. You do have 560 alpha with this gun, and yeah, the gun is just brilliant really. I like tanks pushed down the beach. So far not really a lot of tanks have been spotted, and then suddenly an army of tanks have been spotted all down the beach location, and that is going to be, to be honest with you, very awkward for me. I'm not going to push into that. That'd be a death trap. And I was kind of thinking at this point, what's best to do? I mean, there's so much damage there that I need to try and do something to stop them pushing round. So I'm essentially going to set up to position, because once they push the beach, if you're in the right position, it's kind of awkward for you to just push off of the beach. I never really think the beach is a fantastic place to go on this map, to be honest with you. But I'm just going to wait and just be patient and wait for these tanks just to try and cross and then get the damage in, because it's like it's 7 or 8 or so tanks in that area, so it's no point me really driving off. I don't have the best mobility. It's 38 kilometers an hour, so it's not but it's not mega quick. I'm just going to stay where I am. I'm not going to go and try and flank or anything like that. I'm just going to wait for the damage to appear and try and focus out this light tank first. It looks like he's going to make the aggressive spot, because I don't really want him to flank around the side of me. I do want to try and get some shots in. So we managed to put a nice juicy shot in there, putting him onto a potential one shot, and hopefully we can potentially get the finish here. Waiting to get this shot in. Unfortunately, he just managed to get behind some cover there, and I thought I could pen through the destructible cover. I can't, because it was actually a rock which was hidden behind a wall. So that's kind of awkward for me, mainly because every time I want to try and turn and fight the other heavy tanks now, I've got this light tank that can potentially shoot me. So I really want that tank to be destroyed, but I'm having to just sort of do what I can. Unless he peaks, I'm not going to get the shots in, and I need to make sure I make this damage count on the tanks which are pushed out. You see that E75 is pushed out, and you can see how quickly I can just deal the damage to those tanks. But I have swapped to the small mini-map in case some tanks try and get behind me, because I'm conscious about that F3 heavy which is behind me there, and that's something I've got to be careful of. But I did manage to slap the Conqueror. I don't really want to turn around, because I know if I turn, the light's going to put a shot into the rear of my engine. So, and I don't want to miss this opportunity to farm. So I've opted to, just wait. If this tank comes behind me, which he probably will, I'm just going to wait for that to happen. And he's come around, annoyingly damages my ammo rack, but I do have my repair kit loaded. I put a shot in, it puts him onto a one shot. I'm hoping I can try and finish him off here, which I should have to kill. I need to do it quickly, because I've got this light tank who's looking like he's making his advance on me. Annoyingly, he comes around and he damages my ammo rack again, but he hasn't done a great job there of trying to get around the back of me, because he allowed me to get that shot in and finish him off, which puts us onto 2 kills, 4,300 damage with 400 assistance. And considering the numbers the enemy team had down the beach, I was like, you're set up for it there, especially when you've got a gun with this DPM. It's not great. You can see how much damage I put into them, what they had to lose in order to push me there. Put me on about just shy of 5,000 damage. There's still 6 tanks remaining. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of health left, and I've still got to wait for this ammo rack to be repaired, which has kind of slowed me down on the DPM here. But E100 is there. I am a one-shot to the E100, but I just want to try and farm this tank out as the best I can. You know, second he sort of turns to look at the tanks, you know, on my left, he won't have his turret. That should give me, looking at me, it should give me the opportunity to get the shots in. Pick up the kill there for our 4th kill of the game. Put us on to just shy of 6,000 damage. There's only one tank remaining. It's the enemy Fun Police, and we're not going to get over there. So that is pretty much going to be it for this game. But, you know, we're just driving over anyway, just waiting for this game to tick over. And we finished that one off for, what, 6,000 damage, 4 kills, 2,000 blocked and 400 assistance. So for a very quick pace game, we get quite a lot of damage there. But we've got one more replay to come, so we do confirm the ace tanker on this one. But let's move on to replay number 2. Okay, so here we are for replay number 2, this time on Overlord, where we have no enemy artillery in the game, and we do have one enemy light tank. So, I'm not a massive fan of Overlord, but when you've got no Fun Police, no artillery in the game, especially when you're in a tank like this, it is going to make it a lot easier to play. Now, initially we're going to try and push the 9-0 line. I'm not going to push all the way, but because we've got a few tanks coming with us, we should be able to get in a little bit more of a battle, because, you know, we don't have to worry about getting shot from the sky. We just have to worry about, you know, the stealthy TDs, which will be hiding in the background on the sort of H90. We do have to be, you know, wary of that, but hopefully we've got enough tanks coming down here. And you can see our light tank is playing quite aggressively on the spotting, and maybe he'll be able to spot for us, and we can see what we can do. We've got a good presence at the moment. We've got a fairly good map control. I like how it's starting, but something to bear in mind, I do notice there's quite a lot of tanks at sort of the F4 area. I want to try and get as much damage into these tanks as quickly as we can. We've got a one-shot TD there who does get shut down, so we don't have to worry about the enemy TD there. But I'm just being careful, because there is still some nasty tank destroyers, and if I do get detected, I could lose a lot of hurt. So I've got to be a little bit patient at the beginning. I have got the concealment on this tank down to 296. You've got decent concealment, as you see when I'm shooting through other bushes. We don't get spotted there. We actually get a great shot into that enemy leopard, because we track him in place, pen our shot, and we essentially pick up all of his hit points with a damage or track assistance there. So great initial start to the game, and then this enemy 50B gets spotted. We are shooting through 2 sets of bushes, so we're not getting detected, and he's in a situation where he's got to move now. You can see how good the DPM is. You know, got a fantastic reload for that 560 alpha, and if he doesn't move, he's going to get shut down. Enemy tier 9 heavy tank crosses there. We're going to be able to land a shot, which we do damage his engine, so he's got a chance of getting set on fire there. So we damage his fuel tank, I should say. And we're now looking for the sort of turret. You know, we've got enough penetration to go through that turret. But we turn to finish off the 50B, who was a one-shot, confirming our first kill of the game. And now it looks like we're pretty much winning this side. A lot of the enemy tanks are either on the beach or in the sort of E4 area, as you can see. So once we've, you know, killed this tank, we can then make our advance back over to get the damage, because at this point, decent start to the game, 2 kills, 3,000 damage, but there's still 11 tanks and 61% hit points remaining. So this game is definitely not won as yet, and there's still a lot more damage potential available to us. So I'm trying to make my way over as quickly as I can. I think I've seen a type there who's pretty healthy. I'd love to start getting some shots into that tank. I just wanted to try and get as much damage as I can. Hopefully, you see, we'll be in a good position to lean over and get shots on these as a little bit distracted with our medium tank in the front of them. So as we initially poke the ridge, we do spot an enemy light tank. We tried to get a shot in, but yeah, didn't quite have the opportunity to land that. Got to be careful, because it is 10 versus 10. I don't want to throw this game away at this point, but also I do want to find an angle into this damage. So I'm trying to use this house to give me a bit of protection for anything which might still be in the left-hand side. We do find the enemy Maljan, which we're able to shut down, which confirms our 3rd kill of the game. And now we're just moving in and mopping up these tanks. There's an enemy Avery. You see, I don't want to get shut down by the Avery there, but it looks like he is just fired. That would give us a window of opportunity to get some damage in. He is hull down, but unfortunately his heavy tank's kind of blocking shots from the turret for me. If he moves back though, he may present a shot, and he does in fact do that. Gives us our 4th kill of the game. put us under 4,000 damage. It's still an 8 versus 7, it's still close, but the remaining in the enemy team are on the beach, and they're going to be easier to kill when they're in that location. I'm going to pop down and finish off this one-shot Polish Heavy, the 650 TP. Move in, and then we spot an enemy Ruthless, a Rogo Dawn, and then a Night Stalker on the right-hand side. So this is a very awkward engagement. You know, got to be very careful here. Our friendly Foch tries to get down quickly. Unfortunately, rams us there. Luckily, I don't get shot because of it. But yeah, it was just an accident at the end of the day. But now I'm going to try and move in and get some shots in on this Ruthless. But with that big nasty gun he's got to be very, very careful of this tank. We do manage to get a shot through his cupola, putting us onto 4,500 damage. Our friendly Foch comes, and then I thought the Ruthless was going to shoot at the Foch, but he actually shot at me. Thankfully, I actually bounced his AP rounds there, and he doesn't get any damage, so that could have gone bad. But the Ruthless is now on like a 30-second reload. The annoying thing for me, and what is stopping me from really farming those tanks on the left, is that there is an enemy Night Stalker hidden in a sort of B4 location, which I'm aware of. And that's stopping me, because I would have took the opportunity to push when that Ruthless was on reload, and just pushed in to get the damage in the Rogo Dawn whilst it was reloading. But I can't do that with that Night Stalker on the right. So thankfully our friendly Avery is moving in. And now this is a problem with the ridiculousness of the Night Stalker. He's a one-shot. I come round and I go, right, I'm full health at this point, by the way. Let's just put a shot into the lower plate, finish him off. Boom, bounce. Okay, now that's going to be half my hit points disappeared. You know, this tank is crazy. But now I'm thinking, right, he's reloaded again. I'll try and put a shot in the lower plate. Unfortunately, he's wiggling, making it awkward. I end up bouncing again. Now, if it wasn't for my friendly Foch getting that big shot in to save us there, we could have ended up dying to that Night Stalker, because honestly, that tank is just absolutely ludicrous how quickly it reloads and how much damage it can put out. And we finish off really now at the moment with 5,000 damage, 5 kills. Miss out the opportunity in our top gun there. And what I'm going to do now is just speed this up, because, spoiler alert, we don't end up getting an opportunity to find these tanks. We spot the enemy light tank, but obviously he's just going to be out to manoeuvre me, and I basically end up just trying to chase these tanks down and never finding them. So I'm not going to watch, you know, sit here rambling on. I'm just going to fast forward it, and we'll talk to you in the end of this replay. So as you can see, unfortunately, we don't manage to find the last little light tank, and he doesn't come back for the reset for us to get the kill. But we do finish that game off with 5 kills, 5,000 damage, the ace tanker, and 1,000 assistance. So that's all for the video. I hope you enjoyed. If you do enjoy it, please remember to like and subscribe, because it really helps out the channel. And as always, thank you for your amazing support, and happy tanking.
Hadouken!